Alrighty, folks, time for a video walkthrough with the wonderful Joy Frost and the amazing jazz standard My Funny Valentine. Joy, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing lovely. It's nice to see you this morning, Paul.
Always good to see you as well. And I'm so happy this album is finally out. Final press to vinyl, mission accomplished. I'm proud of us and all the people that helped us with this recording. Um, this will be the first walkthrough since the release.
That's
And
right.
I like this one a lot. It was my mom's favorite ballad. I love My Funny Valentine. Um, we decided to go big on this one with a lot of influences here.
I
Uh,
think this
so
one's my favorite from part one, to be
is
honest.
it? I love hearing that. I
Yeah,
love hearing that.
it turned out
Um,
really nice.
it's a lot of work. It's the one of the five that I produced on part one. I'm most proud of this one, although all of me is up there because of how different it is, but that's for another time. Um,
If you look at it, this one is our perhaps our lowest amount of tracks.
Could be. There's some hidden stuff in here. Like my string section is hidden, but yeah, it's
Oh,
not a lot
okay.
of not a ton of tracks. I mean, I only
Because
got
authenticity, we had 40 tracks, and here there's only
27, it's
27.
30-ish or so, but a lot of them are doubles or string sections, etc. So, um, My Funny Valentine, the classic ballad, very dark and bittersweet. It's mostly minor. It's got some major keys. So help me understand, why did we go this direction? You gave me some bones, and we wanted to go big. I can't remember how how the bones started. Help me
So the
understand your
bones
creative process.
started because the bones began because I'm a bad musician.
Hmm.
And I couldn't actually play the real chords to My Funny Valentine. And so I thought, you know what? I'm just going to come up with my own chords. And I want it in A minor.
Okay.
And so then I just was just plunking around trying to come up with some really depressing, simple
Yeah,
things to play.
doing your own thing, kind of like you
And
did
something
for
that was,
you did the same thing for Body and Soul. It
yeah,
worked out, and it worked out
exactly.
great.
So it's really a simplification of the chords along with creating a bit of a dark ballad energy, and that's just kind of I didn't change it too much, really, barely at
No,
all.
but we kind of adopted a symphonic approach to it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say, Hans Zimmer is an influence of mine, Billie Eilish as well, and it's kind of got a Hans Zimmer, Billie Eilish vibe to it. I mean,
yeah,
the James Bond theme they go from quiet to a pop feel, but this is, dark pop, which is your
right.
specialty, dark jazz, dark pop. So we get there. Let's just start from the beginning, and it's just a gentle piano intro. I've actually got three different pianos layered together. Let me make this a little
I'll
wider
say
here.
one thing. There's
Oh,
one
sure.
thing missing from this,
What's
from
that?
your session version, from the final one that I uploaded, because I added in one
Ah,
thing after I got the master back. Um, I added in a vinyl crackle in the intro just to help cover up the entrance of the microphone because the noise floor of my microphone.
well, yeah,
This is my
you.
new mic, but my old mic is what I recorded this with, and it was starting to die around this song. And
It
so
was for sure. Yeah, it was losing it. I mean, you busked with that microphone, Molly
in the
Malone, the
rain,
microphone. She was rained on.
it
She's
was rained on.
plugged in and plugged out beyond belief. Poor little girl. But she's
She
retired and
suffered.
living peacefully now. So
Mhm.
so let's dive in. We'll hit the intro first. We've got verse, bridge, verse. A jazz tune is different than a pop tune. You got verse, you know, pre-chorus, chorus, verse two, pre-chorus, bridge, etc.
There's no
In jazz
choruses in
tunes,
jazz.
yeah, in fact, there's more verses. There's usually they're A, format, verse, bridge, verse, repeat. In this section, we've got some stuff that's coming up. You can see the colors in the top. And I like working with color coding, although this one, yeah, is pretty standard in my project. I've got all my melodic instruments in some kind of purple. My basses are always blue, percussions are always red, and then vocals are green because green is money and Joy's voice is money. So
That's so
that's where that comes
silly.
from.
That's so
Um,
silly.
we all have our little things that we do. So let's just take a look at the beginning and give it a listen, and let's see how things go here. The little pad comes in.
And that's also where I started the vinyl crackle in the final one. just for that length of the greenhouse pad.
That's it. So it's just greenhouse pad. Let me see. That's Omnisphere, the wonderful multi-purpose universal kick butt. I'm an Omnisphere. At 2.8, I'm current. It's the greenhouse JD pad. Omnisphere is one of my favorite tools. It's a lot of folks' favorite tool. And it just gives wonderful, wonderful sounds. And I've got no problem sharing the tools we use. There are so many composers out there, and some folks are like, keep it close to the vest, don't share it. Look, this is my music. I love it. I want people to learn and understand. We don't care what you use. You just want to make your own, that's great.
So, what type for the piano? We've got piano noir.
Piano Noir. This is Noir by Contact, created by Nils Fromm, wonderful German impressionist avant-garde piano player. He's very much into the sounds of the piano and the sounds of the performer, the clicks, the breaths, everything. And it's this is my favorite piano. I talked about it for years on my channel. I got it when it came out, and it's awesome. And so there's different things you can do with it. So if I
Do you
just
have the
sold,
particle engine on in this set?
there are some particles in here.
I
Not a
can't
whole.
believe it. I
I snuck
can't
it in
believe
there.
it.
I did sneak it in there for sure. Yeah. Um,
I didn't
the
catch
part
him.
no, the particle engine is part of the Noir piano. Come on, here we go. There's if you click on this little thing up here, it has actually no, on this one it's off.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, see if we select it, all these little things would happen. But no, I'm just going for the specific sounds of the piano, and I've got different things going on. But it's just
I would have been shocked if I hadn't noticed.
yeah,
Piano particles.
just whole notes, or sorry, half notes.
It's nice and soft.
It's gentle,
Soft and dark.
got
That's
this
what I like.
ambiance to it. So now if I come back in, and this is, so we have this wonderful vocal, and what I
Well, of
love about
course, the
Joy
fact
singing
that
is
you
the
perform the
intimacy.
pianist.
What's
I was gonna
that?
say you're. I was gonna say. I was. You were trying to compliment me. I was trying to compliment
Oh,
you about your piano performances. It's just so lovely.
thank you. Well, that's one of the things I like about Noir is I just got a Alesis 88 standard $99 controller keyboard, and getting the velocity curves right is important. A lot of folks talk about keyscape to piano. I've got it, and it sometimes works for me, but I just have a better response with Noir. It's much more gentle, and it sounds fantastic in the lower register. A lot of pianos, when you play down low, if notes get too close together, they sound muddy.
But
Not
yeah,
with Noir. It's just awesome. So I can play really gently, which I think is perfect for this song. And then what I was going to say about you is when I tell folks about this album and about Joy in general, critically listen to her vocal delivery, her diction, her articulation, but her emotions and feeling. The personality behind the voice is what attracts me so much to her songs. Her original lyrics are fantastic, and her interpretation of existing lyrics are fantastic. So just listen to this story. I'm going to play just the first verse. Listen to the emotion. That's what captures me, the emotion of this very first phrase. And I guess before I hit the vocal, how do you interpret the story, the lyrics? Is this a happy song, a sad song, a tragic song? What's your take
oh,
on the
it's
song?
so sad.
So, so sad, which is why you love it. It's
It's really
ironic.
sad.
I think bittersweet's a good word as well. So let's listen to the vocal here.
Well, look,
Oh, sure.
the lyrics. Like she's saying, "Stay, Valentine, stay." Like it's like you're begging someone to love you, and you're just hoping they don't leave you.
Is that so? You're sensing this woman is like there's a relationship ending or has ended or
No, but just a longing that has
yes,
been
good word.
unfulfilled.
Longing, absolutely. So, and the way that the lyrics are, I'm like, this is not a handsome dude, but it's someone that she cares about deeply. So
He sounds like a real dumbass. But you just can't choose who you love.
she picks you girls pick the bad guys. I don't know why that is. Okay, let's
Ah.
get back into the vocal here. Here we go. Listen up, folks. Listen carefully, critically.
My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. That's Tina. Your looks are
We love us some Tina Guo.
laughable.
So I think did we is this we got a live cellist on this one, don't we? Live strings. Yeah,
Our
we do.
Tim. But it
But
doesn't come until the end, right?
right. So well, we got some stuff here, but I think when I sent the music for the live cellist, I forgot that little phrase right there.
Hmm.
So Tina gets her own little solo.
She does.
We're talking about Tina Guo, the fantastic
Hans Zimmer's
cellist,
cellist.
Hans Zimmer's cellist, who happens to just follow Joy on Instagram, which is awesome.
I'm so starstruck. Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah, she's awesome.
She texted
Um,
me back. I was like, what?
yeah, they're on
I
tour
just
now.
walked out of the. Yeah, I saw her post on Instagram, her like dancing with Hans Zimmer, like doing all these silly little dances together. They're adorable. I got the message from her when I got out of the AC/DC concert. I was like, this is the craziest night.
Awesome. She's a little dynamite packer, but she's such a fantastic
So
player. Anyway,
cool.
this is the Tina Gould cello library. She
Highly
released
recommend.
absolutely, and she released a second volume. This is Cine Samples, and now you can also get her cello on the Museo music subscription collection as well. So it's a
Oh, good for her.
fantastic, expressive cello. I've probably used it a couple of dozen times in different tracks, but yeah, so that's not real cello per se. It's Tina, but it's not. We didn't hire Tina. Well, after the album does well, we'll be able to
Next time.
hire Tina for the project.
Next
So
time.
what I'm doing, I'm bringing in, so we got this quiet first verse. It's just piano and vocal. And then we're going to lead into some strings. So compositionally, I'm going to add an intro. Oh, here comes some strings. And now we got the Tina Gold library combined with our live cello player. And where is our
Artem
cello?
Litvachenko.
From where?
He's from Ukraine. He's from
Excellent,
Ukraine.
excellent. So let's go in here. So we got now we got vocal, we got piano goes, we got a little pad adding some thickness and air. The strings come
Really
in
not a
into the
lot going
second
on.
verse. We got
It's
a lot
very
going on
subtle.
already. But you see, it builds over time.
Your looks are laughable,
So cute. I love that little.
unphotographable. Yet you're
And
my
the piano tinkles in the
favorite
upper register are everything.
work of art.
Bigger now.
Is your figure less
So
than Greek?
how?
Is
Let's
your
show how it got bigger. Because if you see at that spot, there's no new tracks that came in. So for the new music friends, how did it get bigger right there?
So yeah, you see nothing new. It's still the same live cello track. What I just did was go down an octave. So we've got we got the strings are all in the same like think of altos and sopranos, but then I wanted some more presence, so we go lower on the strings. So if you listen
You did that not
here,
just in the strings, but the piano as well. You did it in
I
both.
believe so. Let's take a peek real quick here. So yeah, so now if I make this a little thinner here, you see the first part. Yeah, see all this stuff here, all these notes here are the piano, but then so I'm adding some lower piano, but I had some notes in the very, very bottom, but I don't want those to conflict with the other strings because if you have too much going on the bottom, you have too much harmonic conflict and it all just sounds like mud. So what happens here is this cello gets down the octave. So let's listen to the strings here. Let's just solo them for a second here. Just two bars of Tina's library by itself, and then the strings come in and get bigger. Just these two tracks. Now we're doubling the same unison. Single notes. I'm trying to stay out of the way of the vocal. And then here we get bigger on the bridge.
So you're playing when I'm not singing.
So we went down to the bottom octave there. So I'm
Low
playing.
cello is the sexiest thing
It's
in the world.
gorgeous. It sounds fantastic. Yeah, you brought up playing when you're not singing. I've
Yeah,
spent years playing behind vocalists and learned how to stay out of their way. So
that's why
the
singers
vo
love you.
that's right. You have to do that. I mean, yeah, listen to what Joe's referring to is the piano. Let's listen to some piano kind of we call them trinkles or tinkles. They're out of the way.
Unphotographable. Yet you're my favorite work of
There's a
art.
space between work of art.
Is your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you
Now bring it back
smart?
down.
But don't change a hair from
Okay, so what we're doing
me.
compositionally here, I'm just building and adding, creating an arc. So again, beginning of the song's just piano, quarter notes, then Joy comes in singing her vocal over just whole notes or yeah, half notes, just sustained piano. And then the second verse, we add the strings, and then as we get to the bridge, now the piano gets busier here. If I solo this,
Right? It's not quite as simple anymore.
there's some triplets, feels.
I love that.
But then we get quieter again. Notice the half notes?
But don't change a hair from
We gotta bring
me.
it back down so that way the
Night,
energy is
if you
available
care
to
for
bam, the
me,
Exactly.
next part.
stay, little Valentine,
So
stay.
that's what Joy just said is important. We're bringing it back down because the next session wants to be big. So I watched a master class of Martin Van Buren, I think it was, the EDM sensation. And he talked
Oh,
about
that
why
guy.
his, yeah, he's, they had some blonde guy. I don't know if he's German or Dutch or what. He's big, big, big. And his class, he talks about why his drops drop so hard. And it makes absolute sense to me, but he talks about as this thing and then things drop down. He actually brings the master volume down of everything, that last measure or so. So it gets
Oh,
quieter, the energy, but it's quiet energy. And bam, the big stuff to drop, and everybody's going crazy and raving. The same thing kind of happens here. We get larger in the bridge, come back down for the reprise of the ending verse of the first section here, and then we bring in the rest of the team here. So
Little Valentine, stay. Each day is Valentine's Day.
what's it called? Drum coming in. Brrr.
the
Yeah,
timpani,
the
the timpani,
timpani
the
drum.
timpani right there. So we're saying, hey, something big is coming here.
It's so cool.
I love it.
It's such a great little foreshadowing instrument.
Love me some timpani. And that's from the BBC Symphony, the wonderfully named BBC Symphony. The
Will you show the
uh,
MIDI notes that you did for
I
that?
sure can. What did I do here? It's did I do an actual roll or is it a programmed roll? Let's see what we got here. Okay, I actually created the rolls in this one.
Mm,
I could have done it
I want to
differently, but
see.
so all it is it's just all those little short little notes.
Now, I see that the velocity is slowly
I think I
increasing.
just did.
Is that like a ramp of the velocity?
So that what I did, I actually played a roll and then kind of cleaned it up a little bit to make the space even.
Mm-hmm.
But the colors here are the velocities. So the first one,
So it gets hotter.
yes. So that roll, that's why it sounds, listen to it by itself here. Boom.
Very nice.
Now, the most symphonic tools have built-in rolls, and I could have done that, but where I was musically when I did this, that worked for me, and I think it worked out great. But then we also bring in French horns, and we have
And we have real
live
French
French
horn.
horns, real French horns. And where are our French horn player?
His name is Ostrus.
And you know what country he's in?
I think he's from the Netherlands, if I remember that right.
So we've got, let's see, you've got Netherlands violin. I'm sorry, our French horn. Our violin is from where? The family?
Cello's from Ukraine.
Cello's from UK.
Or 10.
You got me in Texas. We got you in Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
On the other album, we've got Czech guitar player. Isn't there somebody from Spain? Oh no, Colin's from
The
Ireland also.
illustrator. The illustrator's from Spain.
This is Joy Frost and her World Orchestra.
Yeah, our mastering engineers are from Germany. I think I'm missing something else.
Probably something else in there. But yeah, I mean, this is the joy of the internet and the
I
technology we
love
have today. I mean, here we are. I'm in Texas. Joy's in Ireland. We're doing this Zoom session live.
it.
This is how we did work for 15, 16 months, cranking this stuff out. The technology makes it great. Anyone can collaborate if you have patience and can get along well. That's
Yeah.
collaborating is like dating. Sometimes it works like this. Sometimes it absolutely stinks and you hate it and can't get out quick enough. Uh, but Joy and I have a wonderful musical marriage, and it's awesome. I'm so blessed that she's part of my life. Um, Okay, so we got the big orchestra. So we got a little transition here, and
I have to get close because my eyes are bad. I'm just like, what are? I
uh-oh.
can't even tell what's in here. I can't remember.
I'm trying to remember.
That's why I'm
Did
getting
we?
like so close. I'm like, I can't
We
remember.
didn't have the. You didn't say I want to do an orchestra. You just said I like this style, and so I said I think we used Billie Eilish's
It was the
delivery,
James Bond.
the James
It
Bond
was
thing.
the James Bond thing.
Was it No Time to
No Time
Die
to
or
Die. That was
yeah,
the inspiration for like the art, the direction sonically.
yes, for sure.
Um, so I wanted, I just wanted it to sound orchestral. I thought that would be cool, like a
Yeah.
dark
And this
orchestral
one was
vibe.
hard to mix too because it starts so quiet and it gets so big at the end.
Yeah.
So I battled like, oh, how do you master this thing? And then I still think the beginning is a little quiet. I could use more piano in the beginning, but
No, it's
we're good.
perfect.
It's perfect. Yeah, as you wish. No, I agree. So it's wonderful. It's
Uh,
difficult, but I actually did compare. I checked out the LUFS, the volume of the Billie Eilish Hans Zimmer thing to see, and it starts like minus
tell our friends
25.
what lefts means for who
Oh, what
everybody
does it
doesn't know
mean?
what.
Do you know
I
what the
think.
letters stand for? I
Oh,
forget. It's it's
dang it!
it's it's the
Something
output
full scale.
volume. Yeah.
Something loudness units full scale.
Boom. That engineering degree
Maybe.
kicking in. Look at you.
Don't quote me on that. I gotta look it up. I can't be
That sounds.
sure.
Oh, wait. It will be in German if you found your notebook.
Right, I'm not gonna look that.
No.
I
Um.
think it's loudness units full scale.
Yeah, so there's LUFS when people get in these loudness wars to make their music heard. And like with working with libraries, sometimes they have requirements of how loud it has to be. When you put something on Spotify, for example, I think they default to negative 14 LUFS.
Right.
And so when I
Because
check the
zero
range,
with full scale volumes, you can't be louder than zero. Zero is maximum volume. That's what full scale means. And so if you're at zero, you're already distorted and horrible. So you have to be at a negative value. Otherwise, it's not good.
exactly. And so Spotify defaults to making its music negative 14 or negative 12, I believe.
Hmm.
Um, and so if you don't do that, their system, their tools will do it for you. That's why they have generally consistent volume when you
Yeah.
pick one of their
And
100
they'll
million
also
tracks.
reduce you. Oh, whoops.
They will.
They'll,
Uh-oh.
that's very funny. They'll reduce your volume as well. So,
They will for sure. So we get the orchestra, we got some strings. I bring in here strings. We got horns right here, live horns. I layer the live horns with the BBC Symphony, which is a fantastic. BBC Symphony is, I think, it's $100. I mean, it's fantastic. The entire orchestra is here. If I mouse over the colors, it's laid out exactly as an orchestra section would be, and you can pick the instrument you want. And let me just see what we got here. So I can
sounds
pick on a
great.
different section. It's
And
wonderful.
then
And you
once
get,
you add one real instrument on top of that,
oh,
it
so
sounds
magical.
perfect. And on a budget, you have it sounding like you have all of them real, but it's
And I
actually
think,
like,
did you ask for two versions or not? No, that's, I took the same one and then
oh,
I
I'm
split it.
sorry. I keep touching my desk adjustment button accidentally.
That's
I'm sorry.
okay. So, I think what I did, let me see, yeah, I did that. So right here, you see these two horns. I took the one live part that we had, as if I zoom in on these tracks,
You panned them left and
I pan it
right.
left. So you can see the waveform is the same, but I got
Mm.
it panned
Oh,
left and right. I combined that one horn. So if I just solo those guys,
so what did you do to the? Did you
so
offset it?
I did offset it slightly. I want to say about 10 milliseconds or so, and I think I might have
Okay.
detuned. Did I detune one? Let me see here. Sometimes I detune. Okay, I didn't do that this time.
Well, they both have Melodyne on them. You might have
I might.
within
I think
Melodyne.
I used Melodyne to make sure they were in tune. So yeah, I took the horn instead of having one horn centered. I put them uh, separately. If I zoom in a lot, we should see.
So you just
Let's
copied
see
and
it
pasted it on top of itself and
just a
scooted one
little
over
bit.
barely, and it
Exactly.
went
See how
right.
this note ends right here, and that one ends
Oh, look at
there.
that.
So you got that starts here, that starts there. So I mean, I'm really, really zoomed in. So
Hmm.
so that makes a difference. And so a trick that a friend of mine in LA taught me, uh,
This
Frank
is a.
Rogala,
Mm.
he does a lot of vocal mixes and stuff. It's been doing around for a long time. And he will take a vocal and he will put it on another track. He won't necessarily change the timing like I did, but he will micro tune them maybe 5 cents flat, add a third one that's maybe 6 cents sharp. So you're getting just these subtle differences in pitch, but now you have one vocal that sounds like three vocals, and it's not just a copy and there's phase cancellation. So there's things you can do with
Right, because
panning and
we
EQ.
will have phase cancellation in what we've done here, but because it's not the main instrument, it's like off in the back. It's less
Exactly. And
obvious.
they're slightly separate by like 50 or 40 milliseconds. So it shouldn't be too bad at all.
Yeah,
So
it should be
we
fine.
combine the real horns with the MIDI horn part.
I was so excited to hire my first French horn player.
It's a
Like,
French horn is
what
a
has my
very, very
life become?
classy
This is
thing for
so
sure.
exciting.
Very, very regal, very classy. Now also the horns are playing something there. We haven't even talked about any of these videos yet.
Oh gosh, you're
Um,
right. It's the
the
leitmotif.
leitmotif. So why well, explain what a leitmotif is, and
Okay.
then why do you have one in the album?
Okay, well, a leitmotif is when you just have a melody that's repeated a bunch, not just in one song, but in several songs, to kind of be a melodic glue across an album. And I think that's very cool. And I got inspired by my friend's Lord of the Lost album, Judas. And Lord of the Lost, they mastered our album for us.
Shout out to Lord of the
Um,
Lost.
but their album Judas has a leitmotif. And when I heard that, I'm just like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing of all time. And I'd already recorded like so much of the album, but I'm like, it's not too late to put one in.
Nope, we've got I
So
almost
we
every
did,
song that we did together
because
has
it's
one.
just so cool. I love that idea.
Well,
I
I
think I
kind of
love it.
I love it. Oh, it was. I'm like, what a damn good idea. I love it because it's a
Oh, it's not
glue.
a
There's
great idea.
like when you listen to the album, you're like, this sounds familiar. Well, yeah, because I put this little da da da
It's
da da
from
da.
Sexy Sugar Baby, which is going to be in part two. So
Yeah.
people have not heard that song at this moment in time, but the song Sexy Sugar Baby is the motif. But this is much slower and it doesn't have all the notes. So instead of like, I'm your sexy sugar baby, so it goes, sexy sugar baby. So if your love language is gifts, then give all your love to me. Like, it's very
Exactly.
dramatic and
And so
legato.
I thought I had the challenge now whenever we were doing stuff, like how do I fit this leitmotif? And I think Joy forgot for a while because like I think I did it with the big band version.
You kept
Um,
putting it in places and seeing if I would catch it, and I never would catch it.
And I think there's a couple places I did where you haven't caught it yet. I think I might have slowed it
Oh
to halftime
no,
or something like that. There might be other
you're so good
places
at
where I
it.
did it. We'll find they're like hidden Easter eggs.
Yeah,
But the
it's so fun.
concept is it glues the whole project together, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, I want to do that on every
Of
double album I ever do. I just love
course,
it.
we got a lot more albums to do still.
Yes,
So
we
we've
do.
got the orchestra transition, or it's not, I guess it's a departure, or it's just a transition before the next verse. But we're getting bigger. So we start quiet, we grow. Timpani says, hey, something's coming. We got French horns and timpani, full string section.
And we don't have any real strings, like no real violins, just the real cello. Because we're also on a budget. We're indie artists. No.
Yeah.
So I hired
And
French horn and cello. That's all I could do. I
well, and we
couldn't
had,
hire
yeah.
violin.
And
I
we did
tried.
have the just the single chill. That's it. I mean, we are on a budget.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the patches sound so good.
They do. For folks out there writing, I just did a video about, how to be successful, best position yourself for success. One of the most important things, you've got to make sure your sounds are current. If you're getting to anything orchestral, the bar is so high from a string quality perspective. The libraries are so strong. Even, now versus 2 years ago, they're massively improved. Microphone placements,
Oh, it's
the
so fun.
effects, the quality, they're fantastic. So you can do a lot if you want, go on YouTube and search for, orchestral logic stock sounds only.
What
You
are
can
our
do amazing
strings?
stuff. What's that?
What are the violins that we
These
chose?
are Spitfire strings. So if I pull these suckers out here, let's pull some
How many
Spitfire.
layers do we have?
We've got
We've got a stack plus two more on top of the stack.
yeah, we got violin one, violin two, viola, cello one, cello two. Well, we got violin one, violin two, violas, cello, basses, and then we inserted our live cellist in this section as well. So if we bring up the
Let's
Spitfire
listen.
BBC.
Let's listen one by one to see what we've
Sure,
done.
we can do that. So I do this here, let's do this here.
And I could have hired violin instead of cello, but I I just like cello
Oh,
better.
I love me some cello. I love cello. I
Cello
think
is sexy.
they're both good, but yeah, cello I think is more close to the human voice. It's just
If I have to choose between the higher pitched one and the lower pitched one, I'll always choose the lower one, no matter
yes,
what. That's just my taste.
simple.
So
It's
that's
all
off
quiet.
seventh lower.
And then we do this guy here. So that's violin one, violin two. What am I doing in violin two? What did I do? Did I do two different voices?
Yeah, these are different.
And then we got a little viola here. Much quieter.
Would you show me which, where you mix that on the clock?
What we got here?
Also, also just +6.
Here's
Oh,
my
so
strings
both of
right.
your violins were in the same spot, but because they were in different voices, you shaped them
Exactly.
in the
So,
same
and so what I'm
spot.
thinking here, if I
All
go,
sit with
what's real
the.
nice on the BBC orchestra, they lay it out so you can see if I'm sitting in the audience down here in the
Oh,
bottom,
of course, your
there's
violins are
your
sitting together, so they should all be there.
violin one,
That
violin
just makes
two,
sense.
violas, cello. What's really weird for me is that the basses are on the far right. They're not centered like they are in pop music. The basses are on the far right.
Okay,
The
here's a really stupid
percussion is in the
question.
center. The oboe is in the center. The trumpets, I think, are over. Yeah, trumpets are far right. Your brass is on the far right. So all the weight of the orchestra, the cello, the
Yeah,
basses,
I have
all
a
the
dumb question.
brass. Go ahead.
Yes. Is cello plural for cello?
Yes, it is.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah,
I did.
I don't
I'm
speak
not a
Italian, but
symphony.
yeah,
I
that's
don't
cello.
know.
Yeah.
I'm a singer.
So why isn't it violi? If it well, it's cello,
That's
viola,
such a good
violas.
question.
Maybe when it ends with O in Italian, it's I for plural. Violins,
I don't
like
know.
not violi. And I think ravioli. Is ravioli plural for raviolo? I have
I
no
don't
idea.
know. I don't know. I learned something.
There we
So it's
go.
not cellos. It's
It's cello.
celli.
Well, I mean, in the Western version or the American version, we'll say cellos. It's like flutes or flutist, flautist. There's
Mm.
classical world has all of its own terminology. But I love this BBC orchestra by Spitfire because it lays it out wonderfully. So now I pan it that way. So with my panning here, go back to my mixer. You can see I've got them.
Let's
I
hear
didn't
the
want them hard left.
viola.
So violins right here, and then the viola. So I got slightly left,
Oh,
slightly right.
and I wanted you to put the cello in the middle because that was my main deal.
Hmm.
Could
And
we hear
so
the
I kind of
viola
broke the
alone?
rules.
Yeah.
Again,
Could I hear the viola alone?
sure. Let's do this right here. Do this here and viola. Look at here what I got going on. Okay, well you can see here, it's really quiet. But it's something you can't really hear well. Is it is quiet in the mix. You'll see all these lines here. I'm doing automation. Let me scroll this up a bit here. Take all my strings. Do that right here. So
That's the magic sauce right there.
right there. So getting your strings to sound real, there's tons of videos out there on how to do that, but you've got different controllers, MIDI volume,
I'm
MIDI
surprised
expression,
to see you
and
went down at the end because there
yep.
is such a swell melodically. So why does that go down?
I'm not building. The strings are when I'm always thinking about instruments, how you play and where you're phrasing as an instrumentalist with the long notes. Sometimes the long notes are building, sometimes you're just coming down off the phrase. So it's really just how I interpret. I would play this if I was in this section. Um, so I like if I let's watch again. And this here, I've got this blue. This is the expression, and I use this wonderful tool.
Does that
Um,
apply to all of the tracks simultaneously,
I did it.
or is it
I think I had a
individual?
struggle with that. I've got this MIDI controller that slides. Like you assign each of these channels to, to volume, to expression, to velocity, or whatever. And so when I'm actually playing, So I'm playing with my left hand and or I'm playing with my right hand and pushing. Da, da, da. And so it really adds that human touch to it. That's how you make a string sound real. And so I'm just thinking if I'm conducting, what would I want the strings to do? How would I play as a player, etc. So let's go back
That's
to do that
lovely.
again.
Cute little waves and crests.
And now that's fading out as we've
Could you
got, I
show
think,
me
another
the
timpani roll.
adagio strings? We've got adagio strings as well on
Did I add some
top
more
of
strings
that.
in there?
It's
What number
above
track
your
is that?
stack. 7 and 8.
Put on eight. So what do I got here? This is oh yeah, Omnisphere and then another one. So I've got a couple different string sections here.
Yeah.
Omnisphere strings, Adagio transparent strings warm. I use that string section all the time.
Could we hear those two soloed?
Sure thing. And then Opus. This is East-West String Ensemble. This is my best music string library. Um, and so let's do these guys right here.
Hold on. Is one of those Opus and one of them is
Is Omnisphere.
Omnisphere? So we've got Opus, Omnisphere, and BBC all stacked plus a real string. And that's
Exactly.
why it
And
sounds like a real thing.
that's the key. When I learned a few years ago watching orchestral writers for TV and film, they are stacking multiple brass libraries together, multiple string libraries to get all those uniques. Because if you use just one library, it kind of sounds inside the box. But when you add different libraries, you add BBC versus Spitfire versus Nashville scoring string versus East West. They're different articulations, they're different room sounds, etc. And so you get, here's just the two, these guys. Let's try it again now with everybody.
And that those are center panned because within the patch itself it's spread, right?
Say that again.
These two strings on the top, 7 and 8. Those tracks are panned center. Are they panned within the library itself
Yes, the
wider?
library has the stereo spread built in. So,
Okay.
and I'm doing a whole section that whereas the Spitfire strings are individual parts.
Right, I
If I
noticed
go
that.
to the Adagio strings, this is the full section, and I still
So
have
that's
the
all
volumes
four
there.
again.
Yes, and
The other
sometimes
one
more.
below
I've got
below.
six here, five notes there. So when I'm writing for strings, I'm usually playing Omnisphere, one of the string libraries, and then I then break the parts out. I play
But these
what
are
I
just
want.
stacks of chords.
Bingo.
They're not moving around.
And then I'll take this track and I'll copy it down um, into my, violin, and I'll just take the top note only, do everything else, and the next one I'll do the whole thing, take the second note only, and that way I create the section writing on keyboard, and then I split it into the individual parts, put the two together, and they sound great, I think.
Show me. Let's see. I'm curious about this as well because
Sure.
you just did this, and I was like, "Wow, sounds great." And then
That's
and then that was it. I didn't really look. There was no need for me to like QA your work because it was awesome. So I don't know. Could we look at the first one, so track 7 alone,
track
to
seven
understand
alone.
that part, and then move down? So this is just chord blocks,
Yeah, play it by
no
itself here.
movement,
Just
just
yeah.
four on the floor kind of strings. It's very simple. I see you did that one individually with its own little articulation. So it
Exactly. It
may
has its
be
own.
even better to have the individual one rather than one doing everything because no human orchestra would ever have perfectly synchronized swells.
Exactly. And so did I do the same thing here on this guy? Let's take a put. Yeah, slightly longer. I extended the notes for some reason
So
on
are these the same notes, same parts, copy paste identical?
Yeah, they're the same exact thing. This is where
Oh,
I
it's the
didn't.
same exact thing. It's just two different libraries playing the same exact thing.
Yeah, so let's just do this guy here. Let's do
Ah,
these.
so I'm learning. I'm learning as well. This feels a little darker. I like this one more.
My favorite one.
This one is which one?
This is the East West
Oh,
Hollywood
of course it
strings
is. Of course it's East West.
versus totally different.
Yeah, it's so interesting. What's interesting is I find that each one has a different instrument taking the power.
Yep.
So the bottom one had more the cello in the lead. This one has like the viola
And then
somehow
just
popping out.
East West strings, Hollywood strings is just it's one of the bar setters in the industry. I invested in it and a couple of years ago and it's
East
worth it.
West is you invest.
It is. It's expensive library. Um, but it's fantastic. And I'm just scratching the tips here. There's so many videos out there on how to get the most out of your string libraries with articulations and microphone settings and panning and all this other great stuff you can do. You can dive in and do some amazing things. I don't have that kind of time.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'm
I know.
doing what I
Just one
can.
more question. I know. I'm sorry. So
Oh no, we're good.
with we've done these two. It's just everything copy pasted twice, two different
Mm,
libraries. Now when we go to the Spitfire, it's one line at a time.
yeah,
Is it also the exact same thing?
should be. But now you're gonna call me out. So let me see. Here we go. We got this
I
right
don't know. I
here.
don't mean to. I
No.
don't
We're
mean to.
totally cool. I'm curious now. I'm pretty sure what I did was
I'm not
I
looking for
just
a gotcha. You know, not
oh
at
no.
all.
We're actually there. So there's this. So if I in Logic, if I hit the shift key and the up arrow, it highlights the top note in each stack. So that what I would do is invert that selection. I think that's
Wow.
I. No, wrong vision. Maybe shift I. Yeah, shift I, delete, and now I have just the top voice. Um, and that helps me inside copy and paste
Mm-hmm.
that down. So if I've got these here, let's look at the top voice here, and I'm going to click on the violin, and it should be the same top notes. No, it's not.
Mm.
What did I do? Well, I probably fixed some. Okay, so when you do this, when you play piano, yeah, I've got voice leading, orchestral training and big band training, arranging training. But when you're playing, sometimes you break those sacred rules. And so I might go in and clean something up.
Sacred.
Sacred rules.
It's
No
so
parallel
silly.
fifths. Um,
Sacred rules.
so I may clean up the voice leading to make it sound more natural. So
Are there parallel fifths in our song?
there are, I think, in there.
I don't even care.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I made a comment to Guy Macklemore's video. He's a wonderful London-based composer who's got a fantastic YouTube channel. And he was writing with orchestral stuff and blah, blah, blah. And he talked about the rules of orchestration. And I made a comment about, make sure you don't have any parallel fifths. Ha ha ha, because that's a joke inside classical composer world. But he responded back and said, I love parallel fifths. So write what you like. Don't follow rules. I'm not
Exactly.
even sure why that's a thing. It was what, 400 years ago, 300 years ago, who knows? So we got this wonderful orchestra here. Um, and we build and build, and then we come in, and then things totally change. What category is this Grammy for? This is a hybrid
Alternative
alternative
jazz.
jazz.
That's what we're
It's
getting to.
it's we're gonna bring in the alternative now. I mean, this is jazz, but it's orchestral jazz. It's black and white, smoky room, woman in a dress up front instead of the big band and orchestra, etc. But then
And this
things
part
get
was also
large.
really inspired by the No Time to Die track because they had this beautiful, only starting on verse two, this underwater kick kind of vibe, and I liked that, and I wanted to do that. So I
Underwater.
love it.
That's a good term for it. So we're cruising along here. And so we've done the first full form of the
Okay, so
song. Now we're going to kick in again and we're going to make
we
it
bring
more poppy hybrid.
yeah, so we bring the pad in this time, not just a single note, but we've got a harmony going.
Yeah, we do it right here. Yeah. So we
I
got a
can
couple
see
of notes
that,
going on.
and the horns stay. They don't disappear after the orchestral section. Is that right?
Correct. They keep the strings go away for a
Or
while.
is that just the waveform continuing, but there's no notes in that spot?
This right here, no, I think it's just a single waveform. They do go away.
Okay,
So
they do.
from there to there, they're gone and they come back in.
Oh,
So
and the
let's
cymbal and the timpani.
That's right. So we got the timpani going, but so
So cool.
when we entered the orchestral thing first, we had that timpani roll by itself.
It's Valentine's
But now
Day.
Going the second time, I added the timpani plus the cymbal. Let's just do that here real quick. So that's a sample of a cymbal roll by itself. It's just the same concept. You don't just always just hit cymbals. You can do rolls on them like a soft mallet or hard mallet. So it sounds like this. So it's just adding. So we got the one build here, and then we got the two builds right there. And that happens again in the back half as well.
Cool. The sub bass is where the alternative jazz
Oh,
really.
absolutely. Then we bring in your big fat
Like,
bottom
there's
comes
no
in here.
sub bass on jazz, but I'm like, bring in the sub bass.
Absolutely. And it's actually a stack. We got a stack bass. We got two of them. We got cookie and S fat. So let's hear the whole thing coming in and then talk about it for a second here.
My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me
Yeah,
smile with my heart.
So I love the term underwater makes sense because it
Heartbeat.
is underwater. So we got the pad stays there. And you'll notice at the end the pad goes away because I got so much going on down here. The pad might add some mud, but we got a lot of emptiness here. The strings stop. We're coming back into the verse. So the whole concept of the arc of the verse one, verse two, bridge, verse three, or A, B, A. The same thing happens, but now we got a larger foundation. We got the bass and the drums, but we still have this whole, not much. And then we add the strings, and then we add everybody else, and then it gets really big at the end, and the vocals get big. So the whole thing is a big, growing work. But then there's little mini stories or chapters within
Yeah.
the composition. Volumes
So,
down
can you
here.
show me the nitty gritty of how we did the sub bass?
Okay, the sub bass. I know you like the fat bass, and so doing the hybrid thing for this, it was all about, bringing in pop elements. You like the underwater sound, like you said earlier. I've got a stack of two basses. We got bass cookie and bass S fat. So let me see what these are actually. I'm trying to remember what these guys are. Here we go. So next is bass cookie right here. So if I play that keyboard, are you seeing that little pop
Yes.
up? Okay, cool. So highlight the bass cookie.
I love a scoopy sub bass.
Nice mono, kind of they use that a lot in drill trap. And then another one here is Omnisphere. The SFET is an old school analog synthesizer. And so let's have,
Oh, I really like this one with a bit of a
so that
dark
doesn't
tone.
have the portamento, the glide. It's got a little slightly more specific attack versus cookie.
What a great combination. So we got the scoopy one and the crunchy one.
Put them together. But I really didn't use these for attack. I was using these just to put some bottom in the mix. So if we just listen to the bass right here, it's just long notes. That's all it is. But by themselves, it's okay by itself. But together, they're fatter. They're bigger bottom.
It's
We like a big
awesome.
bottom. Who doesn't like a big
Absolutely.
bottom? Underwater kick.
We
And so if I
really
look at
wanted
the,
to go with a less is more energy for this song. To be kind of reverent with it. Right, and I remember, I mean, look how low that fader is. I
yeah,
remember I was asking us to turn it down, down, down till it was just like barely there. For
yeah.
really just a subtlest, because
So it's
otherwise it
not,
was sticking out a lot.
and
Because it's a
this
little bit
was,
brighter.
yeah, for me, I was struggling with this one because I felt the need for a big, fat, crisp snare, but it would get in the way of the vocal. It really sticks with that. It's a weird sound when you first hear it. Underwater is a great way to put it. I mean, let's bring the whole thing into for a second here. Um,
Funny Valentine,
I think it struck a great balance.
sweet
Oh,
comic
it is.
Valentine.
And so it's almost like the drums are far away in a different
Yeah.
room or something else. They're there, it's driving, but it's not this crisp pop, multi top snare, bottom snare thing.
Yeah,
And
most
that way it
important.
lets you breathiness of your vocal chime. So we got the bass, we got the kick and the snare, and that's it. There's not even any hi-hat in here.
So there's no
Um,
new tracks after this. That's already
that's it.
everything.
I mean,
And
yeah,
then
so we
it's
get
just
back to
how
the
we sprinkle them together.
yeah,
And we
it's just
basically
it's
just recycle the orchestral element from the middle again at the end,
mhm.
except what did we do differently?
Well, it gets. I
More
mean, so
cello,
back to the new
more
verse
real
again.
cello.
We start small again here up in
Hmm.
this area here. But then we have bass and drums, and then we bring in Tina again, just like we did here. Tina comes in the second verse, just like right here is the second verse. So second verse, Tina comes in with a cello, and then in the bridge, we added more strings again, just like we did.
Now, what's
Well,
the
actually,
bridge in this song? Is your figure less than Greek? Is that the bridge?
yes. Let's see a little here, but
Is your figure less than Greek? Is your
I
mouth
know
a
this is new because we didn't have the
little weak?
strings on the bridge last time. We have the strings on the bridge now this time.
absolutely, yeah, because there
Earlier.
were, yeah, good point. There was no strings here, but we've added them here for sure.
Okay.
So yeah, the strings was not, and the strings are in, and they
But
and they
that's
stay in.
tough because then we were trying to build, but we couldn't really go back down anymore.
Right, for
So
sure.
how did we do that?
How do we do this? Let me take a look at my strings. What did I do in the strings here? Let's make this wider. Okay, so see how the strings here and they're just in this middle register here, same thing.
So we're
And
tiny
then
first and then
I,
get
I almost
brighter.
just grabbed my monitor and try to pinch it. You can see the top and the bottom being increased as we got to the orchestra
Mm,
verse and the out. So we're adding more range.
range.
Um, and that makes it bigger there. And then we've
Seems like
got
you had lower notes in the strings first in
mhm,
the bridge and then you went higher later.
yep, for sure. Also the brass is a little bigger here. You can see the wave
Hmm.
file, there's more volume there. Um,
Oh, and look at that. There's no BBC symphony horns in the bridge. You kept those. You
right.
saved them for later.
That's right. See right there. They're not there. And so it's getting larger here. Um,
And no timpani, of course.
right. And then I added a timpani. What's this here? I added a timpani, kind of gave you some pulses on the way out now. So we're just adding more and more, subtly adding more elements. I am, what do we got here? So verse orchestra. So I guess coming out of the bridge, we hit maximum velocity and then just sustain that as your vocal gets bigger and bigger.
Right. And
So
that's a big thing that helps the dynamic increase is that I'm singing so loud and big and long.
right. And yeah, and the thing is I've got to stay out of your way. I can't cover that because it's a powerful song. I mean, let's come back in. Let's start with the bridge and let's see.
It was so
Pick.
hard. That last note was so hard.
Oh yeah.
I had to hold it
Uh,
for so long, and then I had to have breath left over to be breathy at the end.
oh,
It
that
was
that's.
so
I mean,
hard.
it blows my mind because you think we'll get to that. I'm going to isolate that in a
It was
second.
really hard.
It was, and people don't
A lot
understand.
of
Is
takes.
your figure less than Greek? Is your mouth a little weak when you open it to speak? Are you
Ah, I love that. That's Ella Fitzgerald. I mean, open it. I mean, I can't do it, but the tone of your voice when you say to speak is like, I love Ella Fitzgerald. I can sound like Ella. I mean, it does. I hear that every time, and I think Ella, and we know she's your queen.
She is my queen.
I'm sorry to stop, but that's probably my favorite moment in the song. I mean, listen to it. This is
open it to
That note
speak?
surprised
Are
the
you
hell out of me.
smart?
When I was recording these vocals, my main objective was I want to sing it in a way nobody else sang it, which means I have to just try random stuff and then see what works.
well,
Um,
there's when the melody you changed. Well, let's see. We get the piano here.
because that note, oh, I never heard anybody sing that note. I mean, maybe somebody has, but I hadn't heard anyone do it. And I was just reaching for random notes to
Yeah, what
see
you do the
where I
melody
could
though is
spice it up.
I've not heard anybody do this before. That major seventh, that B natural. Oh, I just got goosebumps. It's awesome.
But I didn't hit the major seven. I hit a different one.
And on this time you did, yeah. Earlier, you played that different melody. You make this
Mm.
melody your own. That's why
I
I,
tried to do it different both times as well because there is no chorus and it is ultimately just doing the same thing over and over again, back to back. And I
yeah,
didn't want it to sound repetitive. So I made sure that I sang every single line differently both times,
yeah. You
but
certainly
also
did,
different than I'd ever heard. So I had to come up with two fresh ways.
and you did.
You open it to speak. Are you smart? But don't change a hair from me. Not if you care for me. Stay, little Valentine.
There's so much clipping in this.
Stay.
And now
There's
we think we're
so much
peaking here, but we're not.
clipping. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not peaking
I'm just
yet.
like, we were. We were already peaking. We've already clipped a few times, but you know what? Oh well.
It
It's
is
fine.
what it is.
It
It
is
is
what it
what
is.
it is.
The
But
mic was on his way out, and I thought I can't replicate this performance to be honest, because it was just a moment where I was inspired and in flow, and if the noise floor my mic, if my mic's clipping, the performance is more important than
that
the
is so
gear
key.
quality,
That
honestly.
is so key. You can not polish a turd. You can go well, you can if you're in Asia because they actually do that. But actually, and it's a thing. They will take
It has to be
stuff and
like
they'll put,
petrified first or
yeah,
something.
they put it in a ball and they compress it and they keep on polishing it and it turns into like a shiny marble ball.
Oh
Anyway,
my gosh, and I
that's something I
see.
wouldn't think I was talking about in a music breakdown.
Why are we talking?
Polishing a turd.
Usually we
Um,
just go off the rant of little
we
rabbit holes.
do, but one of the big things I always hear producers saying that what the key to a great sounding vocal is a great sounding vocal. So you've got to work with a good vocal, and even with the flaws or imperfections in Molly Malone's last gasp of life as a microphone contributing to the musical world, the performance was so
Last
solid.
gasp.
She's trying so hard. And this is water cooler stuff, right? This is the closet
Yeah,
still.
yeah, this is the water boiler closet now.
You poor thing. You couldn't even open your laptop all the way to see what you're doing. It was so sad.
This is where the magic happens.
That's even
Next.
uglier than the Billy Phineas room.
So horrible. So here we are. I put the laptop on top of my medicine cabinet next to my towels
The camera just a little bit. I'm not seeing this.
because I can't. I
Oh, I
can't.
see. I see. Okay.
I can't even have my computer open all the way.
That
It's
is so ghetto.
so. It's horrible. This thing has been through it. It's been rained on for 100 hours. This mic is, I'm going to retire it after. I make the most of what I have.
And this phrase you do, it's deceptive in how difficult it is because the way I'll just play it because there's one breath but two phrases together and then it's so cool.
It's a
Let's come back
challenge.
into here. Coming out of the final verse and then extending it. Oh
Each
wait,
day
that
is
I was concerned. There's a high B for the French horns. I wasn't sure if that was going to be difficult, but the live players nailed it.
Oh, he totally.
So that's
Perfect.
pretty high.
So
Okay, girl, take a big breath here.
Each day is
that's not the breath yet.
Valentine's Day.
That's a good phrase, but it gets better.
Here's the big one.
Each day is
Right here.
Valentine's Day.
Wait, no.
I already took a breath. It had to be a little breath.
Okay, so I missed it. You took a really quick
Is
breath
that like
there.
measure? It's like measure 44. It's a very small breath because it sounds stupid if you gasp.
I'm going to isolate that for a second. You take this
It's
little tiny breath.
it's just a little breath.
I mean,
It's really hard. I can't hold my breath underwater.
Each day
see how
is
short that is? That's a little.
Yeah. So the secret I've learned through recording this album, which is actually quite counterintuitive for me,
Okay.
because I had to do it a few times when I'm trying to hold my breath and sing such a long phrase and not run out of air by the end. And so I do like a few really ugly, awkward, you know. And then the thing is, the magic trick doesn't make any sense. Is right before you do it, you had to breathe all your air out,
Yep.
and then you take
Yep.
after you breathe everything out, like a full emptiness,
Yeah.
and then you go, and then it works. So you can't have any air in there and then take a breath. You have to be totally nothing, tiny breath, really quick,
Yeah, that's
and
one of the things that my
that'll
high school
work.
saxophone teacher blew my mind. I was in ninth or 10th grade when he told me about, I was working on my classical literature and about breathing properly. And he's like, breathing properly is not just about getting enough air in, but it's about letting the air out when you need to.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I'm like spitting here. Sorry.
Okay,
I
so let's
totally
listen.
agree.
Yeah, absolutely. It's air, and my saxophone professor in college, Jim Riggs, he calls it airstream artistry. I love
Airstream.
that airstream.
I did like 50 takes. I only could do it once. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard.
when you got a great performance, you got a great performance. Okay, let's listen, and I'm not going to stop this time. I want to hear the whole phrase, and then I'll go back and play the note where you see it, and where you hear the duration, the distance of the song. I'll come back here. Here we go.
Each day is Valentine's
Keeps going, keeps going.
Day.
Ah, it's just
The
that tiny
ending is
breath
the hardest part.
because you're going.
Yeah.
This,
Afterwards, you don't hear it, but there's like a after I
I
stop
want to see something
recording.
here because I want to say one of your what was the other note you did a song you did a long note on?
Was
I
it
want to say it
feels
was
good?
18
With
or
the gold,
19
the
seconds. There's
big
a
scoop
one.
one?
I'm not sure. I want to time this one when it hits.
Each day is Valentine's
Keeps going. No breath.
Day.
I can't hold my breath underwater.
Still going.
It's actually not that long, but
16
it's
seconds.
it's the dynamic between
Each
it that makes it
day.
Well,
hard.
yeah, that's the thing because it sounds like you're saying taking a breath before day, but you're not. You're just it's this little tiny
The thing
breath.
is, you lose a lot as a singer. You have to be careful when you do vibrato and when you don't because you will lose twice as much air doing vibrato. And so to do more volume takes more air. To do vibrato takes more air. So that's why
Exactly.
this was so hard because
Exactly.
you
Just listen.
get bigger, you get louder, you do vibrato, and then you have to pull it back to connect it smoothly into a more breathy ending with vibrato again, but breathy.
Exactly. And this whole thing right here is one
It
breath.
almost defeated me.
No, you win. You're the boss of this one. Here you go. So listen to
You
it.
didn't hear the other takes. Disastrous.
Each day is Valentine's Day.
Boom. This gorgeous. I love it. Um, and
I'm
that,
really
and then
proud of
yeah,
this one.
it's there. So let's go back here a little bit, and then you bring it back down. So we've had a story arc. Each chapter goes up and down, gets bigger the second time. We get bigger at the end. We keep going, extending the chord. We get the verse, the orchestra here, and
What do we
then
have at the end? It's just the piano and the
everything and the
pad, just like
little
it
pad,
started.
just like it started. We return to the beginning. So let's keep going from here. We got our leitmotif back.
Oh, that's a sexy sugar baby.
Each day is Valentine's
I just love it. I love the
Day.
And then oh yeah, sorry, I'm spinning again. My phone was running. Then the cello comes
Each
in
day
at the
is
end. Oh man.
Valentine's
Now we're so tired.
Day.
And then you got your little piano tinkles.
Little playing, but the thing is,
Oh, we should also show the vocal reverb because we haven't shown any of the vocal
We can
processing.
do that. What's cool though for me, another of the many cool things in this track is that you're not doing you're not ending on the root. You're not going, no, Joy's doing this.
I like
You're
the
ending on the
wonderful way the
ninth, or you're
arrangement
not
processing.
resolving it. It's tension. It's beautiful. It's wonderful.
And I think that might be why I wanted to do the James Bond track as the inspiration because I always like singing it like that. And I think
mhm.
that might be the James Bond chord, which is why I liked this. Is that the James Bond chord?
Minor
Oh,
six
not
nine
quite.
chord.
Not quite. But it has that vibe. And so I thought, we need to have some type of cinematic
Oh, it's
version
definitely
of this
cinematic. It's got
song
a film
because of
noir
that
thing
at
to
the
it.
end.
Very, very snazzy. Let's look at the vocals. What do we got going on here? We got a bunch of stuff happening in your track on the right
So,
here,
of course, I tune everything by myself before I send it to you, and I declick everything
for
before I sent it to
sure.
you, and then we declicked it some more because it was really bad. I see, you see my spit flying everywhere. Oh my god, it's a disaster. I need that
So
plugin to exist.
rolled off the bass end just to keep things good. Easy EQ. And then we add a little bit of compression here just to make things level, trying to get a nice level signal. Um, and then the declick flies in. We got a little
Oh,
bit
but
going
that's
on
like
there.
very gentle, just
Yeah,
barely
just a
0.5. But
little
I
bit.
probably had it up to like sensitivity like 5 or 6 or 7 on
And then
most
we added
tracks
some
before I
more
sent it.
EQ. I'm not sure why that EQ is there. We do there. Not sure. Maybe we did. Maybe
Oh,
we
did
had
we
something.
use
We turned
my
it off.
favorite reverb?
We oh did we? Is it the clock tower, church tower right there?
Oh, my
That's the
favorite
one.
settings. My favorite settings. I love
Yep.
it.
Bada bing, bada boom.
100% dry. Minus
And then we added the
25 dB
joyride, the vocal
per
rider.
millisecond. My favorite.
So if you watch the vocal rider, what this tool does is it helps. It's not compression. Compression changes signal. Vocal rider is just volume. It's increasing the volume when your vocal gets too soft. It's decreasing it if it gets too loud. You can select the range where you want it to be,
Dynamically
what the final
adjust,
output to
so like
be, but we just watch it while we're singing here.
Each day is Valentine's
one of my favorite parts of the track is sugar limit. It just means tiny, tiny, tiny little work.
Yeah, and
And
it's like the
this
very
is what
end.
this says.
At the very end,
Sugar
when
limit.
you got breathy, that at the end, you'll see that the vocal rider just at the very end, you see this knob in the middle go up just a hair, goes back to zero.
Oh, look at that.
It's it's pushing up that breath. It brings back the effect. It's a great tool. And vocal rider exists. There's one called bass rider that
Oh,
keeps
one
your
very
bass
important
fat.
thing.
Ah,
The couple button.
ooh,
Make
yeah,
sure that's activated, you guys.
yeah.
If you accidentally unclick that, it's disaster.
You only get one side, and you're wondering why is your
Oh,
mix not even? Yeah, and you won't
why is my
know
vocal not in the middle when it's panned in the middle? Because you didn't click the couple button.
how many mixes did we kill because of that. And we learned so
Like
much.
so many.
And I'd send the
Paul,
mix,
it's
and
still on the side. What are we gonna do?
I'm like, first it was the whole mono thing. We did for a year. We worked on this project, and you could only hear mono on YouTube until I learned the how to share stereo via Zoom.
That
Um,
was the last bug of the whole album.
this was the
That
damn
was the
couple
last
button.
one.
That sucker right there.
Oh
Um,
man.
so at the
I'll
very
never
end,
be
we got
defeated by
just,
that again.
oh no, never. So, compositionally, you can see. You starts the piano, we add the pad for some thickness, the vocal by itself, bring the strings back in, bring Tina in, and then a
And the
little bit
real
more
cello.
live here. So this whole section here is very, very empty. It's just five pieces really. And then we get to bring the orchestra in, adding all the strings, adding the French horns, adding the timpani. And so we now that have this big middle section, but now, okay, chapter two or section two, the second half of the show per se. Now I got a new
It's
verse with the drums
bass.
kicking in. And again, it's sparse. All the space here in the middle is empty. We bring in the pad, we bring in Tina again, we bring in the strings
Less is
again,
more.
more strings here,
And look
bigger
how
singing.
softly we mixed that snare. That faders like all the way down. And look at the bass fader. It's also like so low. Like
Yeah.
really, really
I mean,
gently.
really, really down there. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if we just
Just for fun, would
do,
you turn up the bass? Just for fun, to just show how quickly you can ruin it.
My funny Valentine, sweet comic Valentine, you make me smile with my heart. Your looks are laughable
got a lot of
on
bass.
Yeah.
photograph.
There's a lot of bass in my headphones for sure. I don't know if it translates
I
well.
think it just instantly takes away its delicate porcelain nature.
For sure, for sure. Um,
Is there
so
anything
yeah,
else?
so I mean, that's the track. It's a lot of stuff in there. What else? Did we not share anything else? I mean, let me walk through my sounds real quick. I just will do a quick inventory. Um,
I think
we,
that's everything.
yeah, I mean, vocals. We get Noir from Native Instruments.
What about
Um,
our stereo out? What's on their master bus?
oh, good point. Yeah, they're not a whole lot because we had this mastered by your friends in Germany.
Right.
So I really just have an EQ, just killing some very low end, very high end. This is actually my default EQ setting, just taking out the lows and the highs by default. And then this is just a LUFS monitor, so I know how loud we're at.
Oh, sorry.
Doesn't change the sound at all. It's just a visual for me.
Yeah, you're my
And
friend.
then I did pull that stuff up. I can pull it back down now.
I didn't know
Um,
there was EQ on the master.
just a
I told
hair.
them there was nothing on it, but I guess I lied.
I mean, it was hardly any. It just kills the very, very bottom, very, very top. Um, and then I'm a huge, huge fan of Stephen Slate VSX. These headphones are VSX. This software emulates different speakers. It's a fantastic, fantastic mixing tool. I don't get any money for saying it, but if you want to know what your mix, so many engineers talk about taking their music out to the car to listen. I mean, famous engineers, and they do the car test because it matters. Well, you can do the car test now on your computer. Literally, if I go to browse my rooms, I can choose a car, and there's an SUV. It'll change my mix, and I can listen to what it sounds like in a car. I can listen to what it sounds like in a different studio. Um, it's
Really cool
fantastic.
plugin.
I wonder if I could demo that real quick here. Let me let's just do that. I'll turn it on. And so the mix, let's go to
What
let's
car were you
start.
driving? I
This
don't
is
know
just an
anything about
SUV.
cars.
You can actually buy a Tesla. You can buy a there's different car stereos you can
Are
buy as
you
well.
serious?
Yeah, it's pretty
Of
crazy.
course
So
there is.
let's do this here.
A figure
Just by
less
itself.
than
Now we're in the car.
Greek. Is your mouth a little weak
That's so
when
wild.
you
And
open
now if I want
it
to change the
to
room, let's go to a club.
speak? But don't change a hair
And if
for
I go to the other studio,
me. If you care for me,
This isn't translating very well through Zoom for me.
it's not translating to the thing. YouTube is probably not doing it properly justice. Maybe it'll sound better on the video.
Maybe it'll sound better on the video.
each day is Valentine's Day.
So
It's not bad though.
it's very very impressive stuff. That way you check your mix in different rooms to say, oh wow, the bass is really jumping out on this thing, or I can't hear the top at all. And so you tweak it in a couple of rooms and you get a really solid mix. But yeah, what else we
That's my
got?
funny
We
Valentine.
that was it. Strings, brass, bass, snare drum, not a whole lot of tracks like you said. Um, wow,
It's
what a great
simple
tune.
in its production, but therefore it's more complex in the musicality.
Yeah, and like I said, listen to Joy's vocal delivery. That's the key to this whole album. Every track has a fantastic vocal delivery. We try to service the lyric properly.
You're so sweet to me, Paul.
Well, I think it matters. I think there's so much crap out there, and this is definitely not crap.
I'm really proud
Um,
of our work.
I am very, very proud as well. So if you got any questions, hit me up in the comments. Anything I missed, you want me to cover? I'm happy to follow up. If you want to reach me, you can do so in the website link in my YouTube page, which will go to the email form, which will contact me directly. You can follow Joy and me on Instagram. I'm at Yo Poly Music, and of course at Joy Frost Music. find us in Spotify, find the recording, like it, download it, stream it a million times, tell all your friends and family, spread the word. This is great, great stuff. Any closing thoughts for you,
I
Joy?
have nothing to add. You've done a perfect job.
Awesome. Well, everybody, thanks so much for watching, and we'll do another breakdown sometime soon, and it'll be fun.
Yep.
All
Looking
right,
forward to it.
folks, take care.